This is your one and only 𝐈𝐸𝐻81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and welcome back to another informational Valheim video. Today, we're going to talk about the best foods that you should be eating at each stage of the game. Let's get to it. So these foods were chosen based on a balanced play style. So they're all going to favor HP. So it's going to be a setup where it's all going to be 2 HP and 1 stamina food. In most cases, this is going to do the job for you and be able to take on pretty much any play style. Now, I understand there are some niche situations where you would want to favor stamina more because you need a lot more of it than you need HP. And if you guys want a video on that where we're favoring stamina more, let me know and I'll see what I can do. I'll probably just do one where we cover like a few different niche play styles. But this is designed to be well-rounded for most situations, single player and multiplayer. So your best options for relatively early game, once you're able to start killing some things and you have a house set up and you can actually cook some food, are cooked boar, cooked deer, and honey. All of these things should be relatively easy for you to get a hold of. Finding honey is pretty simple. If for some reason you're having a hard time finding bees for honey, you can use the Valheim map website. I'll put a link for it down in the description. It will show you where all the bees are if you cannot for any reason to find any bees, although bees are relatively easy to find in the meadows biome. Now, moving on to bronze tier, and we're going to do this for each of the stages. We're going to talk about your just everyday run around food for nothing too serious. That's your food that's going to be easily obtainable, relatively renewable. So once you have unlocked the cauldron, your best options early game are the mincemeat sauce, cooked boar meat, and the queen's jam. Now, the reason for this is boars are breedable right from the get-go. You can get boars super early on in the game and start breeding them, so you have a renewable food source there. Queen's jam is not renewable in the sense that you can farm it, but it is extremely efficient, because when you craft it, you get 4 of them at a time, and berries are relatively easy to get a hold of. The mincemeat sauce is technically 100% farmable, and to craft it, you need 1 boar meat, 1 necktail, and 1 carrot. Early on in the game, this is all super easy to get a hold of, and you can technically farm necktails. So once you find a spot like this, just look for some like grass and lily pads and just something that looks similar to this. You should find necks. They spawn, I mean, you can. You can see over here we have the same situation, but there are no necks in this one. But you do have a chance of a neck spawn being in an area that looks like this, and you can see I have some over here as well, and they're just kind of all around this area. They respawn every day, so if I kill them here, if we go along this area here, you can see there are no necks. I've killed all of them that are along the shore here. Now, if we just skip one day and we look, we've already got a group of necks right here. You see them spawn in there right from the get-go. So there are 4 of them there. Now, they spawn throughout the day, kind of like when your crops turn, and they don't all turn always at the same time, and throughout the day of when they're supposed to grow, they eventually grow. The same thing, it looks to me like that's the same thing that happens with the necks. Like, we have some here, but there isn't any here yet. But at some point, if I let time pass, 1 or 2 should spawn around here as well. A really easy way to farm these guys is just come out and kill them. Then once you've killed all of them your first day, wait till the end of the next day, and they should all be spawned back in the area in which, you know, if you want in the spawn area that you have found. So kill them all, wait till the end of the next day, then go kill them all, and then just rinse and repeat that. So that makes this option here just a really, really good option for your general just doing whatever. Now, if you need the best of the best at this stage, you're taking on a boss, what have you, you want the deer stew, the mincemeat sauce, and a carrot soup. That is your absolute best you can get for a balanced HP setup in the Bronze Age. Okay, moving on to the Iron Age, we're only going to have 2 tiers for the rest of these. The first one was only one with 3 tiers. So first off, your everyday running around stuff. gonna be the sausages and the mincemeat sauce, or black soup. Now, with the black soup, you're going to need to farm the blood bags, but it's going to give you a little bit more HP. So if you don't like the situation, you feel like the mincemeat sauce and the sausages are not enough HP for you, you can swap out the mincemeat sauce for the black soup, and that's going to give you a little bit more HP. Now, you can get onions at this stage, and you can make onion soup at this stage. I have a video showing you how to do it, but you're gonna have to brave the mountain biome a little early, and you may not want to do that. You may not be ready to do that for whatever reason, and that's fine if you don't want to go up there and you're scared of dying or what have you, because there's pretty good chance you'll die, but there's also a 100% chance you're gonna get up there and eventually find some onion seeds to be able to make the onion soup. Onion soup is absolutely fantastic, and I highly recommend going up into the mountain biome as soon as you can and hunting down some onion seeds. But if you don't want to do that, your other option for your everyday driver is turnip stew. So what I highly recommend for this setup for you're just running around is this setup right here. All of this stuff is farmable. You can, well, with the exception of the thistle, you'll need to go out and harvest that, but it's only 1 for 4 sausages. I mean, it's 4 entrails, 1 boar meat, and 1 thistle for 4 sausages. The entrails can be farmed once you find a Draugr spawner, and you can just sit there and farm it infinitely. The mincemeat sauce, already told you how to go about farming that, and the onions are farmable. So this is a really good setup for your everyday shenanigans. So your best of the best options at the Iron Age stage are sausages and Serpent Stew for the health portion, and if you do not want to go get onion soup is your best option, but if you don't want to go get it, you can replace that with turnip stew. Although, like I said, it is doable to get onion soup, but you only sacrifice 5 stamina and a few HP. You can see the difference there. Turnip stew is 18 health, 55 stamina, and the onion soup is 20 health and 60 stamina. Now, the turnip soup does last 5 minutes longer, give you an additional HP per tick, so you got to decide on that trade-off there. Now, I do not recommend just eating serpent stew on the regular if you found a couple of serpents or if you've even found one. I highly recommend using this setup only for if you're going into a boss fight or something like that, because serpents can be relatively difficult to come by sometimes for some people. I know some people complain that they can't find them at all, and they haven't seen them in forever. So yeah, just something to think about there. But these are your best. This is your highest health option. Moving on to silver. So you've already been to the mountain biome. You've already conquered it. You've already obtained silver. At this point, you should have this upgrade here, the spice rack and the butcher's table. You get the spice rack once you hit the swamp. You get the butcher's table once you get silver. So once you are at that stage, you have a few different options here. So the wolf jerky and the sausages along with an onion soup is going to be your most efficient setup. That is not going to get you the most HP you can get, and some people might not feel comfortable with that. So if we just eat them here, you can see that gives us pretty decent stats at 133 health and 161 stamina. Now, the reason I say the wolf jerky, and honestly, don't ever eat the balanced stuff unless you just want to be super efficient. You're doing stuff around your base. You may just be out killing something super low level at this stage. Anything in the meadows or Black Forest or anything like that. You should be fine with this setup here. It's more than enough health and stamina. Now, if you're going to be doing something where you need a little bit more HP, you should just eat the cooked wolf meat. At this stage of the game, you should be farming wolves, so you shouldn't have any problems having an abundance of wolf meat. And the reason I say to turn it into the jerky is because you get 2 for 1 wolf meat. But if you need the additional health, you can see there's a pretty big health offset here. If you need the additional health, just cook the wolf meat and eat the wolf meat. And if we do that setup there, you can see it gives us 145 health and 143 stamina. It's extremely balanced setup. Now, your best of the best options for this stage is going to be the wolf skewer and the serpent stew, followed by an ice cream. This is pretty much the top balanced stats you're going to be able to get at this stage. At 191 health and 162 stamina, you should be able to handle anything in any of the biomes up until the plains biome. You should be able to go into the plains biome with those stats if you're geared properly and be absolutely fine. Next up, we have the plains biome. Your everyday driver stuff should be lox meat pie. You should be farming lox at this point, bread for stamina, and sausages. All of this stuff is super easily renewable for the most part. I mean, you're gonna have to go out and collect cloudberries for the lox pies, but they last 30 minutes a pop, and they have really good stats. The lox meat part of this setup and the barley flour shouldn't be too much of a problem. If you do not want to run around, consuming a lot of lox pies, you can still run around with this situation here with the wolf and the sausages. So this should be your normal everyday driver, just derping around in the plains biome type deal. Now, if you're going to be doing something extra dangerous, your max stats at this stage for balanced situation is going to be a lox meat pie, serpent stew, and blood pudding. Now, the issue here with these is same thing with the serpent stew. They're relatively rare. You don't want to just be eating this all the time. Blood pudding, you're going to use 2 thistles and 2 blood bags per and 4 barley flour. And the lox meat pie is also going to take you barley flour, so you're going to need a ton of barley flour, but it's the thistles here that would be better used for sausages, to be honest, for your everyday driver setup. So you don't want to be using this unless you're going to be doing something super dangerous, taking on a fulling camp and you're worried because it's a big camp and you're soloing it, fighting all Yagi boy or something like that. All right, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys found this a video helpful and informational. Like I said, if you want something where I cover like foods for more niche situations, like you're playing the archer in multiplayer, something like that, or you're the tank in multiplayer setup, yeah, a video on niche food setups, let me know down in the comments and I'll see about making that happen. All right, if you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. And I don't just cover Valheim, I cover all kinds of different games, so you never know when I'm going to be making guides for a game that you may be playing. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. I want to give an absolutely massive shout out and thank you to my supporters on Patreon for making this episode possible. Y'all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to join my Elite Crew Patreon supporters, please check out the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and show your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.